If you thought the Walt Disney Company was doing dumb things, you ain't seen nothing yet. It turns out that Bob Iger and his House of Mouse miscreants decided to release their brand new Marvel show, Daredevil, at the exact same time as the joint Congress speech given by President Trump. How did it go? Well, let's just say that ratings might be so low that they have to dig to the middle of the earth to find them. We'll tell you what Disney was thinking and why they're blinking more than a few times in regret today. All right, well, folks, let's get to it. The Walt Disney Company decided that it was a wise thing to do to release Daredevil Born Again on the same exact night that President Donald J. L. Trumpo did his fifth speech to a joint session of Congress, the first of his second term. Now, it would be bad enough if Disney had went up against this and it was dull and it was boring. But dull and boring it was not. We were going to walk you through this. At the same time, Disney desperately needs viewership for Daredevil Born Again. Not only do they need it to track on Nielsen and break the slump they're in, but also they need people to forget about Brave New World. They need positive headlines telling you the ratings are through the roof. Because right now, people are looking at Brave New World, that's Captain America 4, and going woof when it comes to how poorly it's doing. But Disney decided to go up against this, and here's how it went. Politics aside for a moment, folks. Just see how you think this is going ratings-wise.
And one counties in our country, 2,700 to 525. But a map that reads almost completely red for Republican.
WrestleMania, with it, and that is within 5 minutes of the speech starting. Whatever you think about it, whatever you might want it raucous and rowdy, but take a look at this. And I had never seen anything like this happen. This was just moments later. And remember, this is what Disney decided to go up against with their streaming show Daredevil at a time they need ratings more than ever.
Jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Now, of course, all of this is spectacle and it's all coordinated. None of this is spontaneous. They all wanted to do this, but I don't think it's playing the way they want it to. But let me tell you, if you were just perusing and cruising through the cable stations before you went over to Daredevil, well, Daredevil's not coming on when this kind of stuff is happening. It's a hockey match in the joint session of Congress. Good Lord.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Now, we've never, at least in my lifetime, I have never seen this happen. And yes, it did. They actually had to get the Sergeant of Arms because of how nuts things went. These usually are boring, right? These are usually just for politicos to watch and be like, oh, it's the greatest speech in the last 20 years. Never have we seen such a thing. Or get out there and say, it was the worst thing since moldy bread. I can't believe what he said. This, however, captured the attention of audiences all over America.
Take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Now, did Democrats specifically and concertedly pick a man with a cane to be the one to go out on the walk of shame? Folks, that would be cynical of me to believe, right? But he was ready for interviews when he walked out into the gallery. Let's watch this real quick. Here we go.
And I was making it clear to the president that he has no.
Too quiet. We're not doing it. Sorry, C-SPAN. Your government dollars are not working for us. Get your audio fixed.
I'm honestly impressed that they were able to get the sidekick from Borat to show up.
Now, the ratings were already through the roof because people were tuning in to find out what he might say about Ukraine. And wisely, if you're wanting to hold the ratings, they didn't mention Ukraine in the beginning. You know what they did instead? They did things that nobody thought or knew was coming. In fact, some of this stuff may have been left out of the notes handed off to the news anchors and the personalities before the speech, when they give their pre-analysis. Trump just called for Congress to eliminate interest on auto loans. And guess what? Whether you like him, don't like him, whether you're Republican or Democrat, well, he has both houses. He has the House. He has the Senate. So why is it not going to work out? He announced, this is why people might have stayed beyond the raucous beginnings. The idea that they're going to cut all interest on auto loans. Let's play it.
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
Of course, he called for no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips. Not a political channel, folks, but we are gauging the ratings here. So, panel, I want to go to you and just ask, and we've got more on this. Was this a horrible, terrible, awful decision by Disney to not move Daredevil to either Monday or Wednesday? And as Kevin, I'm going to go to you first because I see you've got an opinion ready to come out. Kevin, I got to bring this guy on while we do it. It's Culture Casino. Culture, welcome.
Hey, sorry, I was busy watching an orange Hulk go ramshackle on the halls of Congress.
Yeah, I'm sure the ratings are going to be low on that, Culture. I'm sure. All right, Kevin, why in the world did they not just move this to Wednesday?
This is insanity. This is Orange Man's first appearance in front of Congress. There's a lot going on in the world, especially if you've been paying attention since Friday. I just, what do you lose by just moving the release date a day? The guy's gonna cover a ton of topics. It's gonna be a spectacle. If you're paying attention to the news cycle earlier today, we've seen all the the pre-written at least 7 people got the pre-written promo, with the this is silly. This is really this is a bad move on Disney. For the other guys, this isn't looking good. The optics of this are all just kind of terrible all the way around. And this is it's a bizarre night. This is just a bizarre night. I really, whoever sat down at Disney Plus and said, let's just march ahead with this anyway, needs to be, at the bare minimum, get a decent scolding.
Well, their judgment needs to be reevaluated because Nielsen's week, and Kevin, you're on the target as always. Nielsen's week starts on a Monday. So if you're trying to get the most ratings for this show, drop it on a Monday. The numbers are going to look spectacular. You release 2 episodes. That's like 1,000 years of television. I mean, like in streaming terms, you've got an hour and a half and 50 minutes or whatever. I didn't even get to watch it yet. Right. The only reason I'm here is because, Pro was yelling at me because I was watching the Orange Hulk. But look, I said,
get back to work, Culture. How dare you? You don't even know what it's like to have leisure.
I love working. That's the other weird. Something wrong with me. But regardless, you're spot on. Somebody did not do due diligence, and they didn't understand that this show would have benefited from being released on a Monday because I would have got to watch it. And, I wouldn't have been watching the Orange Hulk, tearing up, the White House. Oh, wait, that's a different movie. But I just know that there's a whole audience out there that would have loved to have been doing something else, but they're glued to the WWE event that is the joint session of Congress. That's what's going on right now. Sorry.
Not to mention, not to get too far ahead, with the review of the show or anything, there seems to be quite a few subtle Trump undertones in this episode, the opening episode, relating to the Kingpin. And if they were trying to, whether you agree with it or not, preach any sort of moral, wouldn't you want this to be like the day before or the day after so it's timely with what you're trying to preach as opposed to same time so your lesson is just intertwined and no one gets a chance to see it? It's dumb.
Are there actually Trump overtones though, or is it just people like to put that onto anything that deals with a wealthy, corrupt politician depiction. Like we've had President Luthor, we've had Mayor Kingpin in the comics before, so it's not a new concept. I have to see the execution, but right away I would.
Long term, Marvin, we'll know more, but let's just say there were certain things I found not very subtle as far as some recent events going on that I think might have been added last minute, but it's up to the viewer's interpretation.
I would have to agree with Nolan, though, because they weren't subtle about it in season 3 of Daredevil, trying to make comparisons. I don't think the comparisons are very realistic when you understand the actual truth, but it does seem that they're trying to make those comparisons. Those overtones are definitely there.
Now, at the same time that that may be happening with another Marvel property, let me go to what people might be tuning in to the joint session speech. Technically not a State of the Union, but in every other way beyond technicality, State of the Union. Here's what people are waiting to find out about instead of watching Daredevil. Good job, Disney. Out of Reuters, coming out just hours before the quote-unquote not State of the Union. Exclusive U.S.-Ukraine now plan to sign minerals deal, sources say. How about that? It says, and we'll just do the summary here, Trump wants to announce deal in address to Congress, sources tell Reuters. So whatever is in the speech, people were primed, prepped, and ready. And guess what? People on the left really want to know about that one as well. So Reuters and other sources were prepping this as being in there. The Senate that denies any minerals deal signing planned. Zelensky ready to sign, calls meeting, the prior one in the Oval Office, regrettable, which is the apology that that President Trump appears to have been wanting. Okay? So in every way possible, this thing was primed and ready to go. Why Disney wanted to face Marvel off against it, I don't know. And take a look at this. It gets even more. Because what have people been so interested in as of late? The idea that woke was destroying entertainment. And in this speech, Trump goes directly after that. Here is the highlight, taking on DEI and wokeism.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer.
I mean, I don't know how you get ratings beyond that, and I don't know why you want to put your superhero against that at a time when, like, you get one chance to launch, you get one premiere night, and they went up against this. It makes no sense whatsoever. Is Disney just so big that they think, oh, we're bigger than the president, we don't care, we're not budging? Like, what is it? Can someone explain it to me? Get in the heads of a Disney exec. Can anybody tell me what in the world they thought?
Hubris is a special thing, man. I don't think they counted on seeing something bigger than Joan Collins versus Linda Evans on steroids, but they took a gamble, and yet again, Disney has fallen flat on its face. I'm actually really eager to see what these ratings are, because this was a spectacular blunder. It's
the White House blown. The White House YouTube channel has 294,000 people watching right now.
Wait a minute, call it out again, Culture. Which source?
This is the White House's YouTube channel.
Can you share that on your screen, Culture, so we can get that up? But please, I want a visual to show, so we can show people that.
Sure. It was bonkers, because I was like, "What's happening now?" Culture's going
to have to log out, though, of his burner account, YouTube account, that people are going to wonder about. Sexy Greenhouser is going to have to be logged out of Culture Casino.
Oh, wow. It's 300,000 now. Hang on a moment.
On the White House YouTube channel. We're not talking about a cable channel. We're not talking about ABC, NBC, CBS.
Just the YouTube channel. Hang on.
All right, we'll get it up. Lauren, I understand you're having some audio issues, but Lauren, if you wouldn't mind, weigh in, please. Why do you think Disney didn't just make the call to move it to either yesterday or Wednesday? Like, what were they thinking?
Well, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, good. I thought my mic had dropped. Good. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of questioning it myself. I know there's been an argument going on in our private chat in the back here about whether or not Daredevil was trying to represent Kingpin as Trump. I'm firmly in the camp that they are, but I think we can debate that when we get to that. If they were, it kind of makes me wonder, was it deliberate? Because if they can sense that the political winds are changing and they know that this is going to be a night that's going to draw away from it, it works to their advantage in a way if fewer people see it. I don't know if they'd sacrifice it for that reason, but I don't know. I'm puzzled by all of this.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it would be like, it would be like putting something out, the debut of a big show on Super Bowl night. I mean, because if you think about it, now you could say, oh, come on, Pro, the Super Bowl draws huge ratings. Don't make that comparison. Fair enough, right? I'll grant that one. But consider for a moment, who's the most likely demographic to tune into the Trump thing? The demographic that's the most likely to want to watch Daredevil beat up a bunch of baddies for Marvel. Like it's still red-blooded males.
Yeah, it is. And here's the crazy thing, Pro. I think this is even more important than the 309,000 people that have tuned into the White House YouTube channel. The ratio is way better than Snow White. So just so you know.
It gets even worse here for Marvel and for Disney, actually, because first of all, you have on Disney Plus right now, you've got the big banners in which they promote their latest film product, something that just came out. Daredevil is first, yes, but right after that is this pseudo State of the Union Trump speech right here. So people who are even on Disney Plus might be inclined to go over to that specific block of programming right there over Daredevil because, well, that's happening live right there. Maybe I can pick up Daredevil at a later date. If you do, and if you go online, you might have been spoiled there because I'm seeing, I think Daredevil is number 4 trending in the United States right now after State of the Union, Democrats, Dems, all that. If you go in there, people, what are they talking about? They're talking about the big event that happens very, very early on in the first episode. And if anybody has seen that, you know what I'm talking about. And so if you're spoiled in that way, are you inclined to even pick up the series after that? Or it's like, I just was spoiled. My enjoyment has been ruined, and so I'm not going to watch this show even later on. So this was, I think, a big miss right here in terms of this programming block. If it was a day before or a day after, I think it would have played a lot better. But because it's happening at the same time, now people don't feel as engaged into this group event as they could have otherwise been.
Well, just to give you an idea, currently 270,000 people are watching, not on Fox News, on the Fox News YouTube channel. So I don't know how many more people are watching on the channel versus the channel's YouTube channel, but I got to think it's a lot. Yeah. So we're in the millions and millions of people that are tuning in. I mean, this is going to blow away the Oscars in ratings. We'll get those numbers probably in 48 hours, maybe in 3 months if it's numbers that they don't want to release.
Well, the international numbers though, Pro, are going to be bonker sauce, especially the Canadian numbers, because they've been trying to huff and bluff and blow the house down over these tariffs. And they found out that, the House of Straw isn't a great one to live in.
Culture, I don't know if you know, but Canada is not the most populous country. So even if they all tune in, it might not budget very much. But yes, I'll grant you the international numbers are going to be thicker than fresh maple syrup on a cold winter day.
Anyone who tuned in to the Tooneytown Wrestling live stream of the Elimination Chamber match got to watch Kevin and I in real time rage out as the Canadian crowd booed the American national anthem, and the two of us were just screaming at the TV.
By the way, what we're watching right here with 300,000 on the Fox News YouTube channel. Who knows how many on Fox News? Who knows how many on MSNBC? Is the president of the United States declaring that we're going to get Greenland.
Yeah. Hey, we're headed over. We're headed over to Ukraine to strip mine it. We might as well take care of England's minerals too.
Folks, we're not going to get political. I promise. We're not telling you what we think about any of this. No. We all have opinions. We're holding them back because we're staying in our lane, and yet we can laugh because Daredevil is going up against. I mean, this what entertainment can compete with this? What Marvel movie can possibly compete with the President of the United States having to call the Sergeant of Arms to drag out politicians, then declares we're going to get Greenland, no taxes on tips. Your cars are completely deductible on taxes, and it's all going to happen.
Did you see Debbie Wasserman Schultz roll her eyes at the little boy that was fighting brain cancer?
Man.
Oh no, really?
They showed the little boy. Yep, they showed the little boy that was fighting brain cancer, and Trump pointed him out. And they showed Debbie Wasserman Schultz roll her eyes.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Oh yeah, poor Debbie. But I'm going to tell you right now.
Poor Debbie.
Look, some people are just ignorant, and we got to help them. But anyway, you know what I saw, Pro, and this was the great thing. We now have brand new meme templates because the Democrats were holding up signs the whole time, like little signs. I'm so excited. I'm going to have like fodder forever. Rashida Tlaib brought a little whiteboard that she held up. I'm like, bonus. Thanks for that. But I'm like, you don't know what the internet's like, kids. It's not friendly.
Right. Speaking of Canada, by the way, I just saw this quote from DeSantis today. He said only 3.3 million Canadians visited Florida per year, and they only come to get a glimpse of what a Stanley Cup winning hockey team looks like.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! Because Trudeau said today, told Canadians don't go vacation in Florida, and DeSantis is like, that's not going to hurt us.
Yep. Hey,
Disney though.
Ron has sent some information in the background to us. Ron, you're saying that D-Day Cobra, our good friend Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he was streaming or is streaming the not State of the Union with Trump and has 8,400 concurrent viewers. Folks, this is the new media. The new media has arrived, and congratulations to D-Day Cobra and all of the other, I presume, that places like PBD, Megyn Kelly, All In Podcast, Pod Save America, I can keep going. Daily Wire. I'm assuming that all of them, whether they're on the left and the right, and we're trying to play fair and call out all sides of the spectrum, they're all having a great night. And legacy media, likely not. And in the case of Disney, definitely not, because this has spoiled their Daredevil fun. Panel, last thoughts on this topic as we get ready to. Well, and we're watching there's apparently an announcement about the Abraham Accords. So good luck with that, Daredevil. Good job, Disney. Good job.
Yeah, no, that's they could have even just changed the release time to noon or something like that. They could have changed it to Monday. Would have been great, actually, because like they said, the Nielsen's track that, and it would have gotten bigger numbers. It would have been really, really easy when they found out what the president's schedule was a couple weeks back to say, and guess what, everybody, we're going to release Daredevil a day early. I mean, that's good for marketing, right? It's just, I don't know. They don't, nobody over at the House of Mouse thinks anymore with their brains.
Apparently.
If you go back and look at how TV used to treat the Super Bowl back in the day, right? When did, if you had a brand new show that was struggling, Friends, actually. Friends. The Super Bowl saved Friends. No one was watching it. It came on as soon as the game ended, and it turned into a mega hit. You would think that there should be someone who at least glanced over that case study. There should have been a concerted effort to make a major adjustment here. I get it. You had this date set well in advance. Boo-hoo. The real world would tell you to adjust anyway. Instead, now you're going to catch a major embarrassment, and we're going to do standard Disney. We're going to gaslight everybody, tell everything's fine, eat more crow, and then just kind of limp across the finish line. And like Vash said, if I'm someone, because I'm working very hard to not have any spoilers, chances are, no one's really riding high on the Marvel train right now. So if this gets spoiled, I have no impetus to really jump back on Disney Plus and see this. So. Again, this is a bizarre bungle. It's silly.
The way they could have handled it is, and I don't know how successful it would be, but if they had moved the night to Monday for the premiere, but held back a scene or two, and then had the official premiere on the scheduled night to try and bring in people to see the special extra scene, they could have potentially doubled their viewership numbers for the week. if you have those diehard people who want to see absolutely everything.
Very well said. All right, folks, that's where we'll leave it on this topic. Disney, no good. Programming, very bad. Nielsen charting, unlikely. Daredevil, failure to launch, you bet. All right, culture, I would like it. Can we bring audio in this? Because he's making an announcement about Ukraine. Bring the audio in, please.
Ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership.
Can you hear that?
To get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter. Just got it a little while ago.
All right, so that's breaking. Ukraine will sign the deal on the minerals.
Discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Let's see if we find out if both sides of the aisle are applauding that. Come on. Be smart there, camera feed.
Come on, flip to the other side.
No, they're not.
No.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Oh my gosh, they're sitting there without any.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he
All right,
was
culture,
innocent,
go
but
ahead
they had
and
no idea where to begin.
let's cut the audio. That's
Last
what
summer,
we
I
wanted.
promised this 95-year-old.
We're not, folks, some of us here, including myself, we love politics. Like we love, and I don't necessarily love the sausage making, but I love watching the back and the forth, and it's like a soap opera. It's not our thing, though, that we cover, and we know that when we tell people to stay in their lane or when we complain about celebrities, we hold ourselves to the same standards. But we did want to break in for that breaking news that Ukraine, and this will affect the ratings. There's no doubt. And the fact that they held the Ukraine announcement until the end of the speech, we assume that's on purpose. That's to hold the viewership. Now, basically an hour and 40 minutes long. This is a very long speech. They waited that long to declare that Ukraine has agreed to sign the minerals agreement. So that's a big deal. That gets them closer to peace. If you're on the left, you don't like it. If you're on the right, you do. If you're down the middle, you probably do.
Jump into the water. Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.